Hey, Loco sports fans, the gang is all here. Thursday night football picks, bring them out. Everybody make sure to make time in their schedule for Thursday night's Loco Sports Lowdown, Loco Pigskin preview edition. So we'll be previewing the relatively modest slate of games, only 11, a
Yeah, only
smaller number
11, but
because a lot
there's
of
a ton of
Loco
big
on
ones.
Loco.
Got some doozies.
Yeah, the light slate of games, it's made up by the fact that we have a couple of really good ones on the
Uh-huh.
slate. So
One thing
we can
that
spend a bit more
mid-season
time
rivalry
getting into
week,
the bigger ones.
Rivalry week, we have dubbed it
Yes.
officially.
one thing that I will say
or at least
is
mid-season.
Let's let
rivalry
Marcus
week.
finish this thought.
please.
Yeah,
one
sorry,
thing
go ahead.
one thing that I will say, and this could be an interesting kind of sidebar with some of these games, if not all of these games, weather is very
Yeah.
likely to be a factor big time, which could affect
Yeah.
certain teams more than
Yeah.
others. And I'll get into that in a minute.
Which is funny because it was this week last year that Hurricane Helene's wrath
That's right.
robbed us
Yeah.
of a whole night of high school football, a whole week of it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it seems to
So we
be
got a
this
bunch of games
end of the
tonight
month,
or
end of
tomorrow
September,
night
it seems.
that were supposed to be rematches of games last year that didn't get played last year, including wiping out that Whale Branch Battery Creek game last year, which was a bummer. So we'll get into all those matchups coming up a little bit later. Of course, the granddaddy of them all this week is going to be the Bridge Bowl, Bluffton
That's
and
the one
Hilton
that I
Head
was
at
thinking
the
of.
Nest.
I'll tell you
and
what, don't
Marcus
forget about
Walsh.
Buford County Colton Prep.
No, you're
That's
right. You're right though. That's a region championship game, despite
That's
being
the other one.
September 26th. Jimmy Searson will be at that one, so we'll be out in and I mean first Jasper County championship game
Yeah,
since
and
2011.
then I mean not
is,
a region game, or I mean not a rivalry game, but a big game for
That's right.
like Christian against Pinewood Prep as well.
True story. Yeah, we've got a bunch of good ones on the slate. We'll get into them a little bit later. The show tonight brought to you by our all-star sponsors, Mickelson Law Firm, our original sponsor, the OGs, and our official real estate closing attorney, presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. We love Mickelson Law Firm and the Mickelson squad, the whole Mickle squad. Great family, great people, great law firm. If you have legal needs, call on Mickelson Law Firm. And then our partners in local sports, Marcus Walsh's Peeps over at WHHI TV. Looking forward to keeping you guys in my ears tomorrow night on YouTube while I'm at the Jasper County Showdown. We need a name for that thing. At one time, it was called the Ben Riley Memorial Classic, but nobody seems to remember that except me. So
I like the Jasper County Showdown or the Jasper County Bowl. I
Jasper
think
County Clash.
I
Yeah, it
like
needs some kind of name. I'll have to work with Misa tomorrow on that, and we'll have to come up with a pitch for our friend JT Phillips over at Ridgeland. But definitely hyped up for that one. I'll get to go to a good pep rally for that one tomorrow. So
There you go.
that. But
love Pep Rally Day.
little housekeeping, I guess. First of all, Wes, you got to check out an amazing volleyball match the other night. We knew it should be a good one. Buford and May River seemed really evenly matched, and it was. It went back and forth, and Buford able to win a wild one. And I think I have a few highlights, but go ahead and tell us about it.
I mean, this was a shocker that Buford won this match because May River was in dominant control even midway through that fourth set. The Sharks were, I mean, they were painting the corners, on the edges of the court. They were not making many mistakes. Buford was forcing a few things, and volleyball is a game of runs, quite like basketball, quite like some other sports. And when things started turning the other way, it kind of got to May River very quickly as Buford was able to get back to the game that we have seen them play, not just earlier on Tuesday night, but in that Bluffton game and a couple of other matches on the season. But two terrific teams, and just incredible effort by this Buford team. May River was 2 points away from match point in the fourth set,
Right.
and then the Eagles
took it
found a way to get a run.
27-25.
Allison Dennison is an absolute beast on the court. I mean, just her presence. She had a couple of those impressive floater shots, like where you're setting the ball and then you end up sending it over to the other end unexpectedly. She was a master at that, and I mean, this Buford team just found a way to battle at home. A couple of tremendous points in that fourth set to draw even, and then they really dominated the fifth and final set after they came from behind. May River was a little rattled, but just tremendous continued execution from a Buford team, which has been just so impressive, and certainly one of the big surprises, if not the biggest surprise, in terms of local volleyball. How well this Buford team has done. We saw it in bits last year, but they've really put it all together this season, and this is a massive victory for them. Not just showing how good they could be as this season goes along. A couple of tremendous blocks right there. Claire Hovis among some others, just incredibly active. Eric Crosby as well. They've got a couple of younger players who are really starting to step, but then just the leadership of a player like Allison Dennison, who not just is a terrific setter, but she can score points in a couple of different ways, and just really composed, resilient effort from a Buford team that, I mean, it looked like it was clearly May River's game deep into that fourth set, but volleyball can be a very interesting and crazy game sometimes, and you see those runs going along on either side, and all of a sudden it can completely change a match. So I'll tell you what, I am thoroughly impressed with what I've seen from this Buford Eagles team, and I'm excited to see what they can do the back half of region play, because they get another shot at Bishop England that'll be at home. They have a couple of big ones at home, I think Bluffton as well. So I'm pretty excited for what this Buford team can do moving forward. This is a huge confidence building win, a win that says that we can compete against quality teams in 4A, and we have a chance to find a way to maybe compete for a region title if they're able to knock off Bishop England in the return match over at Ladies Island. Terrific crowd, and they got pretty fired up once Buford started making that comeback, as you can see right there. But tremendous coaching ability just to get these young ladies in the right mindset when they were behind, and a tough one for May River to let slip away, because I thought they were by far the most dominant team. But Buford able to claw their way back and deliver what was quite an impressive win in a 5-set thriller. So watch out for this Eagles team going forward. They've got some tremendous hitters. You look at some of those players that really stepped up as this game went along. I mean, you got Piper Kenny, Smiley, Marley Duncan. But I mean, you just go back to Allison Dennison and what she was able to do to really propel this team back in a match like this. So, sometimes you get a ride your hot hand. Your setter is a very important part of your team. When she can do a couple of things, that's very important. And they just did a good job of doing the fundamentals well and not letting the moment get too big in terms of closing it out. So very, very well done to Buford, and I'm pumped for what they're going to do going forward, because that team is looking like a real sleeper, not just in this region, but potentially in the state as well, if they can continue and build off this.
I mean, we've seen it. This region, often the second and third place finisher can make a pretty deep run in the playoffs, and just depending on how the bracket shakes out, you might get a better path than the region champ sometimes. So we'll see how it turns out. But Buford looking good. Dennison was, of course, she was turning into a beast in basketball too, and then decided to focus on volleyball and play year round and train year round. And so obviously seeing the benefits of that. Looks like a kid who's definitely going to play at the next level when you got somebody with that kind of size
of
who's
playing brothers
center.
As well. I mean, in terms of multi-sport talent, they
Michael
were at
playing football at
tonight.
MIT.
I have not found the score. Buford, I would assume they would be heavily favored to win that one based on what I saw on Tuesday, but still have not seen a final score.
Yeah, they're minus 215. Yeah, it was minus 215 on the money line. No, just kidding.
Oh, bets are off.
But yeah, I mean, they still got Bluffton at home, which will be a tough one. That was a close match that Buford won on the road a couple weeks ago, and then Bishop England, which will be on the 7th of October. So a couple of ones that will loom large for the Eagles, and as they hope to keep this one going. But right now, I think they're on a good track to have a good shot to finish second in the region, which would be quite an accomplishment for that program.
Yeah, that rematch with May River at the Tank will be a really good matchup.
That's going to be electric. Should
be a good time.
That's going to be fun. Yes, that's actually the last match of the regular season on the 16th at the Tank. So that one will be a must-see. to
Yeah,
finish off
yeah,
the
could be playing for a home game in the first round of the
for the two
playoffs.
seed.
Could
Yep,
be
possible.
potentially playing for
Yep.
more than that. So, should be good. What other housekeeping do we have? Anything else? Oh, we got our players of the
USC
week.
soccer got another
Oh yeah,
victory last night.
USCB soccer. Yeah, they
Bouncing
cruised. You were
back
there.
from a tough,
You're here.
yeah.
You're there. You're every bleeping where? World Wide
Well,
West.
I'm not quite Roy Kent,
Yeah,
but
you're World Wide
I,
West.
yeah.
Low reaction from
But hey, that was
He's
a
here.
nice
He's here.
response by
Every bleeping
USCB. Good, good for Kenzie Daigle to get that goal at the end. She's been finding a good role with that team, and they were tremendous off the corner. A couple of goals.
It was
Off
4-0,
set
right?
pieces, but
Against Clayton
just
State.
tremendous job by that entire group for just after a tough loss where you play the number 5 team in the country, you come right back and just take care of business. And I've got to say, Josiah Pack just keeps it going. She has had quite the scoring touch, but I feel like she's rushing her shot a bit because she's had some chances to score even more than the 5 she's had, and if it just finds a way to maybe give a little bit just to set up her shot. She's got some more time instead of just forcing it to put it on net from longer out of the goal. I think that she's got a knack to potentially amp it up even more. She has been tremendous to start the year, and they needed someone who can score at that level, and she has been tremendous. So I'm impressed by what she has done this season here for USCB. She's been fantastic. But Jenny Hespy, 2 assists. When you talk about she's here, she's there, she's every bleeping where. She has just done so many different individual tasks really well for this USCB squad. Rewarded with 2 big assists, including the one on the best goal of the day for USCB, Cassie Martin, with a top corner beauty in the first half. But Jenny Hespy just deserves a lot more love and a lot more praise because she's wearing the captain's armband. She has such an important job to her team, and she does it really well. Just that leadership that she displays, such an important factor of why this USCB team is playing at this level. So give her credit, give Adrian Skelton credit, give that defense credit. They continued to play well, pitch another shutout or a clean sheet, I guess you could say, in the soccer lingo. But I mean, this was a win that's you expected them to find a way to pull out, and they did it in style once again, 4-0 in the victory. So
that's the most
this team
encouraging
looks like
thing is they didn't.
I think they're a top half Peach Belt team at this point.
Yeah, they didn't.
They played with. We've been getting some scoring contributions from a couple of different. Kind of like a hockey, like in terms of different scoring lines, because they kind of mix and match a couple of players. Like Sophia Willis is with a few players like Kenny Harris, and then they switch them back out.
They got some chemistry and some dynamic duos. Yeah, I like that.
Right.
What I liked was that they could have come out and kind of slogged through this game and won 2-0 or 1-0, but they weren't in their feelings about North Georgia, which you said they're up to number 5 now.
You're number 5 now, last poll. So that's a pretty loss. I mean, it's
quote unquote good loss on the resume
against the number 5 team. That is quite
1-0.
That's what we want to see from a program that is really starting to come up in Peach Belt play, Division II play as well. So it's
very promising.
It's quite a start for this program, and I expect them to keep it going on Saturday against Albany State, which is a bottom feeder in the conference. So should be another fun one at Finland Field on Saturday as the Sand Sharks continue to wreak some havoc in this conference. And I think that they're going to end up hosting the first round playoff game in the Peach Belt. They continue to play at this level.
Yeah, it's looking good over there. So you'll keep us posted. Saturday at home as well, right?
Yes, Saturday they're facing Albany State, very new team for them. But yeah, just this group as a whole has really risen up this year. Gary Boughton has just done a fantastic job, and I love the way this team plays a possession-based game. They'll play it up from the back line, And they're patient, but also they're aggressive at times. Like they'll play the long ball. They'll try to get things going, but at the same time, they take good care of it. They don't commit
Take what's there. Take what's there.
unforced errors or turnovers that lead to easy.
I love his energy.
And they get back on defense and they block shots, and they do a good job of staying disciplined and winning balls back, and just tremendous effort, and the way they're just synced up, all on the same page when they need to be, and just the hustle. I mean, you look at some of those players that even I haven't mentioned, especially some of those younger players like Izzy Amplet and Maggie Olson, Savannah Page. She's not just a goal scorer, but she can hustle on defense and work hard to win the ball back. So
she's a glue. She's a glue
all-around players this year, and just even with the losses that we saw a couple years ago, they have just continued to get better as a unit, and right now I think that this is the best collection of players in terms of the team as a whole that I have seen over the time I've covered Sand Shark soccer. So just, I guess, a big testament to Gary Boughton for how he has really handled this first year and how he's built this team.
Yeah, exciting stuff from USCB women's football. But we got to talk a little football though, because it is Lowco Pigskin preview night. First things first, though, we got to put week 4 to bed with our players of the week, and we had it was kind of a weird week because we had a lot of blowouts and mismatches, and sometimes when you play bad opponents, you put up big numbers, but it's hard to vote for that. And then we had some massive performances and losses, so we're going to recognize some losing players tonight for their incredible performances for their teams and losing efforts. Our ultimate, well, actually, we'll start at the bottom and then start from the bottom out here. Defensive player of the week, we had a tie, boys. We had a tie, so we're going to shout out both of them. In a losing effort, Malcolm Gordon from Bluffton, monster game against Lucy Beckham, 16 tackles, 6 solo, and a tackle for loss. He was tied in our voting with Will Jimenez from Hilton Head, who had 10 tackles, 6 solo, 2 tackles for loss, and a fumble recovery in the win over Hampton County. And Javar Henderson from Ridgeland also got a vote. 7 tackles, 5 solo, tackle for loss, forced fumble recovery, TD. So lots of guys. It was all spread out, our voting this week.
Yeah.
So a tie for the defensive player. Yeah, there you go.
On the same field.
Facts. Yeah, facts. Our offensive player of the week, we had 4 players receive votes. We had Braden Moyd Smalls getting some love from Beaufort with he didn't have massive numbers, but he really came up huge in that game, and he made big plays when they needed them. 62 pass yards, 2 TDs, 49 rushing, and a touchdown. We also had a vote for Cale Owens from Colleton Prep, who was 7 of 9 for 286 and 4 TDs, which is crazy, against Clarendon Hall. That was a mismatch. And we had a vote for his favorite target, Thomas Corbett, with 4 catches for 205 and 3 touchdowns, averaging over 50 a catch is bananas. But we had multiple votes, and so the winner in the losing effort, Aiden McCarthy from Bluffton, 25 of 33, 365 passing, 2 touchdowns, and he rushed for 31 on 6 carries.
And that's against a solid Lucy Beckham defense too.
Yeah, that's the thing. Could have gone Carnell too. He had 8 for 166 and 2 touchdowns. But big numbers from McCarthy again. And then ultimate player of the week, it was spread out again. We got 2 votes for Thaddeus Zarnecki from Hilton Head, who had 12 carries for 113 yards and a touchdown, 3 tackles, 2 solo, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. But we had 3 votes in the losing effort, once again, for Hampton County's Jalen Singletary, Agent Zero. Can't fault his efforts.
Credit to Singletary, but Seahawks won the game.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But
hey, I mean, the votes are where they are, and so props to Singletary because he was a beast.
But it is an individual award, and the line is bonkers. 13 for 171 rushing and 2 touchdowns. 86-yard touchdown reception that we saw that was just ridiculous.
He was
9 tackles, 6 solo, and a blocked field goal.
In terms of, hey, I was there and I watched it with my eye, and I I was
I feel you.
impressed. And if I think he's, I don't know if you, yeah, you showed the highlights earlier this
Yeah,
week.
we did.
Man,
Yeah,
that first touchdown he scored was just incredible. I mean, just
incredible.
making incredible quick
Incredible.
movements past defenders, and I mean, just unbelievable the range of motion that he has, his agility. He's going to do something to the next level. I just think he has the tools to do it, and he's
Oh
going to
yeah.
get his opportunity somewhere. But that's a special kid, Jalen Singletary. By the way, before we go any further, another big piece of news: um, we have 4 Lowco players that will be
Yeah.
playing in the North-South game that was
Yes,
announced
sir.
earlier
Great
this week, the
stuff.
Touchdown
I didn't
Energy
see that.
Cooperatives Bowl. Singletary is one of them. Jalen
Yep.
Singletary will represent Hampton County in that All-Star game, which I believe is played around Myrtle Beach at the end of the season
Yep.
every year, and that's a big honor to make it to that game. So he
Yeah.
was one of the Lowco studs that will be playing in that game. There were also a couple of others, 2 from Bluffton. We just mentioned Aiden McCarthy and Carnell Warren. So
Yep.
quarterback receiver duo. And then finally, an offensive lineman from Beaufort, Kenshawn Speaks, will be on his way
Yeah.
to that
Yes.
that North-South game as
Big
well.
dog.
Yes.
Kenny's nice.
Yeah.
He's you've stood
I
next
got
to
to
Kenny.
watch him in person.
He's a mountain.
Yeah, dude. I got to watch him in person on Friday, and boy, I was impressed. That dude
Yeah.
can run over anyone.
Yeah, he's got a shot. He's got a shot at the next level to be pretty good. You know, if somebody gives him a
Yeah,
chance, and
he's
lets him
I
keep
think
he's an
developing.
absolute
special-
baller.
he's a special player.
Physically, he's
That's a
special.
special player.
You know, I mean, it's a lot to say like Xavier
Yeah.
Chaplin, because Xavier Chaplin's, you know, going to be in the NFL next year, most likely.
Yeah.
But he's got that kind of like hulking presence and crazy athleticism
he's got that kind
for
of
the
look.
size.
Yeah,
He's got the
He's got that
potential
look.
if he goes the right place and puts in the work to be a big time offensive lineman.
I'm excited
Um,
to see where he ends up going at the next
Yeah,
level.
me too.
It's-
You know, there's a lot of
he's a
factors that
really
No
go
doubt.
into
good player.
that, the academics and all that stuff, but he's a big time player. Yeah, he's a good kid. Good kid. Kenny's a great teammate. Look at how he treats people. I agree. Good kid. All right, boys.
Yes,
Time to
indeed.
turn the page on week 4 and move on to week 5. All right, we're gonna mix it up a little bit here. We're gonna start mild and get spicy.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So we'll
Works for
start
me.
mild. We'll start mild over at May River. The tank will be hopping because it's homecoming at May River. They're sitting at
Yes.
3-1. They're excited about their team. Got Georgetown coming in at 0-4. It's the first meeting because they were supposed to play last year, but it got hurricaned out.
Yeah. This was the week.
Sharks.
Yep, that's right.
Sharks are rolling pretty good. They've had a week off. They should be healthy. Andrew Johnson was a little banged up before, but he was coming back, and then the week off, he should be good to go. Sean Mitchell's been a monster. Luke Tran is doing everything they need
Yes.
him to do at quarterback, stepping right in
Looking forward to seeing that guy
Macy's
play.
shoes. And the defense is playing good. So I got Sharks big on homecoming night, like big, running the clock in the second half.
I agree.
It's always fun. It's always
just way
fun at
too much
homecoming
May
when you get to schedule a team that's winless or not playing well, because that's what you should do at homecoming every year. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but that's when you want to win. You want to circle that one. You want to play your best because it's always a big celebration that night. No doubt the Sharks are going to live up to that with that run game.
Yeah.
Man, has it been fun to watch Mitchell go. Had that really big breakout game against West Ashley, even though they win it. That was his coming out party kind of game, and now he has really started to earn that big time role alongside Andrew Johnson. I think those linemen are going to do their job. I think the run game is going to get going early, and as you mentioned, if they're able to get on top, they know how to eat up at that clock, and they should cruise in what should be a pretty comfortable win for the Sharks as they make their final preparations for region play. I got May River big on Friday night.
Bigly.
Yeah, they're going to just dominate. They're healthy after the week off. I expect Johnson to just run like the Energizer Bunny. Homecoming is always, no matter where you are, homecoming is always just a great atmosphere for your fans to be out there and celebrate the team and the schools at the various weeks during the season. This is going to be a rout. May River all day long.
Shots big.
Yeah, I agree. I think May River coming off a week, where they didn't have to do anything, just focus on their game, improve their game. They're going to come out better than they were the previous game, and I think that this team is starting to really catch my eye with how well they've been playing this season, and I really like them. I think Georgetown has struggled this year. Obviously, haven't won a game yet, so I think May River rolls on homecoming night, and yeah, I think they're going to run that ball pretty comfortably.
Yeah, they've had some pretty good tests too, and still been able to put up big numbers on offense. So I think they'll Swiss cheese this group, and it'll be a rout. We'll have some big numbers coming out of Mid River this week. Hampton County coming off back-to-back losses, which is not common out there, but they scheduled up, so it happens. They got another tough one. They're going to Christchurch in a matchup of I want to say top 10 teams. Christchurch was in my ballot. I can't say for sure offhand if they were top 10, but they're sitting at 3-1. Hampton at 3-2. First meeting, it was a highly anticipated matchup last year that got hurricaned out. So Hurricanes going on the road up to Greenville should be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, they received votes Christchurch, but they did not crack the top 10 in 3A.
Well, you're welcome, Christchurch. I voted for you. They look pretty good to me.
Yep.
They look like a top 10 team. This is a really tough game on the road. Long road trip. But I think Hampton, look, those boys are not going to lay down. All their goals are still in front of them. And I think they are just going to be mad as hornets coming out, after the last couple of games and wanting to prove themselves. So as much as I have a lot of respect for Christchurch, I did have Hampton higher on the ballot. And so I'll take Hampton.
Well, Christchurch is, I believe, is 3A, correct?
Oh, you're right. They are 3A. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. They had to bump up. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Hampton as well. Hampton. Yeah, I am too. They've really had a tough time for the most part with those 6-4A and previously last year 7-4A teams. But Hampton still has a lot of talent and a lot of skill. They are one of the best teams in this area for sure. And it's just more time for them to get ready. Mentally, physically, they've got stud athletes everywhere. But it's just about, being prepared and making sure that you have the mind right, especially coming off two very tough losses against Hilton Head and Bluffton the last 2 weeks. I do not see this being a problem for Hampton, even though they've got the road trip. I'm going to take them by a few touchdowns. I think they're going to come out and they're going to be ready to go.
A few touchdowns. Ooh, that would be impressive. That would be impressive on the road.
It is a long road trip, obviously, like we mentioned, very long road trip for Hampton County. But I think they need this win. This is a get-right win for them, and I think that this is the game that they do it. Obviously, Christchurch is no slouch, and I think it's going to be a close game, being that it is a decent-sized road trip. But I still think Hampton County gets it done because I still think they're one of the best teams, one of the most talented teams we have in this area. The reason they're sitting at 3-2 is just they've played two teams that are probably just as talented and just as good as they are, and I think they are going to figure it out. They are totally fine, and I'm not worried about this team at all. I think they have still a really solid chance of making it through the region. So I'm taking Hampton County.
I need to see Hampton's defense play well in this game. This is a Christchurch team that they were shut out a week ago against Hammond though. But other than that, their offense has been pretty solid. So I'd expect them to,
Hammond was week one.
This is a Christchurch team that is coming off a.
Week one.
I'm sorry. I read the schedule wrong. Hammond was their first game. Yeah. So they played. They've
been scoring. They've been scoring.
So their offense is coming in hot. They've scored 41, 37, and 48. So Hampton's defense is going to have to be
I've been
ready
watching
because this is going to be a tough game. I mean, I'm sorry if I mean, it's tough because Hampton's lost 2 in a row, but this is going to be another tough one. I
Right.
mean, this is the downside to scheduling.
Really tough.
Scheduling up. I mean, it's good, but
Well, I
this
mean,
is no
they
easy
wanted
game on
they
the
wanted
road
challenging.
for Hampton. So I expect their defense to come ready. I expect them to
Yeah.
show up and make a couple of big stops, and I expect Singletary to find ways to get those more explosive plays, and maybe they have to do some more plays through the air, and hopefully they've learned from a couple of misplays against Bluffton and Hilton. And I think they will, and I think they'll find a way to get back in the win column on the road. I will go Canes in a tight one, but it's certainly not going to be any kind of an easy challenge for them against a Christchurch team that is coming in and playing very well offensively.
I thought you were going against
the thing
them
I would
there
also say,
you threw me for a loop.
No, I'm just saying
it's
going to be a tough one for the
No, it's going to be a battle. I got it a 1-score game, but I'm taking
Yeah,
I think so too. The other thing I would say about Hampton County,
think Hampton's going to drop 3 in a row with the talent that they have. I think they're going to find a way to bounce back and get the win. But this Christchurch team.
The other thing
they've got some dudes.
I would
go ahead.
I would also say Hampton County. I think the plus side of how they scheduled is they go into region play with a battle-tested team.
Oh yeah,
that has been battle-tested numerous times already going into their region play. So I like how Hampton County's scheduling, and I think they're doing it the right way. Obviously, you would like to have some games that are a bit easier. Colleton County was one of those games. So they've scheduled the right way, and I think for them, I really like how they're scheduling this out. And so when they hit into region play, they're going to be more battle tested than I think they were at this time last year, just because they.
And I think that's kind of on purpose because of what they learned from the last deep trip into the playoffs, right? Where they lost to Oceanside and they felt like they hadn't really seen enough to be ready for that. And so they beefed up a little bit the schedule the last couple of years. And, it's double-edged sword. You can get injured. You can get your emotions beat up, so guys start leaving the team and things like that, or you can be forged in the fire and ready to roll when it comes playoff time. And they other outside of Barnwell, they don't really get challenged in their region that much. Lake Marion, they can fight with you in Whale Branch and but in Edisto, but like they have to schedule tough outside the region to prepare themselves to be able to really go deep in the playoffs. So,
and Barnwell hasn't. The other thing I would say is Barnwell is 2-3 right now. They have,
they're a little down this year. Now, don't count them out though.
They're a little down.
Do not count them out.
No, I wouldn't count them out either. Although they did. They lost to Bamberg Earhart, which tells me that Bamberg team is
Bamberg's
by the
pretty
way,
good. Number 1 or number 2, like they're a top 2 team in with Abbeville,
easily.
Opinion.
So
right.
they've had a couple tough opponents, but it's very interesting.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna bounce around a little bit. We're gonna go down to Skeeza now. We got another Lowco team playing an 0-4 team. This time JP2 going on the road. JP2 2-3. Had a week off last week, going to St. John's Christian, where Dr. Jared Brown has taken over, but hasn't quite got things turned around yet. They're 0-4. JP2 won the only previous meeting back in 2015, 62-42.
Oh, yeah.
So they have not seen each other in a long
time.
Wow,
what a game.
Got to make the trip up to Monk's Corner. That might have been 8-man football back then.
That's a Skeeza.
I think that sounds right.
I don't know if JP2 had transitioned
That's not
yet.
A football
I think JP2 started in 2016, didn't they? It was probably
it was.
Maybe.
It would have been 20.
That could be right.
Yeah,
they started.
It might be
11-man. Yeah, that could be.
Right.
Yeah, because I think
still though that's not a football score. That's a basketball
score. Yeah. There's been years that St. John's Christian didn't average 42. I guarantee. In basketball.
Oh yeah.
But no, long trip. We've talked about this trip to Monk's Corner. It's a brutal one. Although Kevin Levy, he likes the long trip. He thinks it's a good preamble to road win.
Good bonding activity, be in the car, be in the bus for 2.5 hours.
It was Hampton County.
It certainly can be. But
I used to
that
run
was
cross country meets over in Monk's Corner. It's a nice area.
Monk's Corner, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So long trip up there. JP2 hungry to get back at it. They've got a couple wins under their belt already. This is one that they expect to win, and I expect them to win it. Haven't seen a whole lot of St. John's this year, so I think JP2 gets that ground game going. They should be good and healthy. Their defense, it's been up and down, but they've held their own really well against opponents that are in their weight class, so to speak. And so I think they're going to be able to shut down St. John's, and I'll take JP2 comfortably on the road.
I completely agree. I'm looking forward to seeing JP2 in a couple of weeks, provided everything continues going with that schedule. They really have impressed me in some big time moments this year. We weren't really sure exactly what to expect, prior to media day and then at media day itself. But that team's come in with a lot of confidence in some big moments this year. I think they're going to roll against St. John's and keep on getting better. Shane Milligan's doing a heck of a job with that program.
He really is. Yep. It's been cool to see them find a way to getting that first win over beginning of the year over Carlton Prep. Certainly the Warhawks have gone in a positive direction after that, but I just like the way this team competes, and Alan Wolf has really been shining this year, and he's done a lot of good things under center, and that run game has really been invigorated by a couple of different guys. And St. John's Christian, a down year, having some trouble. I think JP2 is gonna go in there and show some good things out there on the road, and come back over to Hardyville with the victory. So I'm taking the Golden Warriors to get their third win of the year. I mean, this is a team that already has broken their win total a year ago, and now they're looking to go 3-3.
How about it?
That's a terrific season for them, and a lot to be
Yeah.
impressed about. And it's good to see from a program that has seemingly the last couple of years has fell short of expectations. This year, I feel like they've exceeded them, which is awesome to see.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree. And I think that, the key thing going into this game is they're healthy, which is really good because I know they've been dealing with some sickness over the last couple of weeks or so. Coming into this game healthy is a good thing for JP2, a really good thing, especially, on a decent, road trip up to Monk's Corner. Like we've said, St. John's Christian still hasn't really turned the corner yet. I don't think they will here on Friday night. I think, a healthy JP2 team is going to get the job done. I'll take Werewolf and the Golden Warriors over St. John's Christian.
All right. Everybody's on JP2. Excuse me. Keeping it with Skiza, Hilton Head Prep coming off the W against Augusta Christian on the road. They're back on the road to Dillon Christian in the shadow of Pedro's sombrero. Both teams 1-4.
Ooh.
HHP leading the all-time series 2-1. They won last year 29-8. They've won 2 straight in the series, but the second one was back in 2005 when Ron Peduzzi was still coaching the Dolphins.
Golly, that is a while back.
So last year's meeting was the first in a long time.
I was in high school.
But I look at this one as a game that probably going into the season we were circling as Prep's got to win this one to have a successful year, and I still feel that way, and I feel a whole lot different about this team than I did a couple of weeks ago, the last time we saw them, because they came out and played really well against Augusta Christian. Wyatt Harmer continues to grow into the role at quarterback. He made some big plays with his arms and his legs. Vibes seem to be back on track at HHP, and so I'm going with the Dolphins again on the road. Road Warriors going to bring one home.
It may not seem like it, but the difference between 1 win and 2 wins is huge. And a couple of weeks ago, I was very much in the same camp as you, JJ. As of now, we are scheduled to broadcast the JP2 Hilton Head Prep game, and I was thinking to myself for a minute, gotta show me something. Show me something.
Yeah.
They showed me something last week. Finally, with the fact that they were able to play a full, complete game, and the guys that we talk about all the time, led by Wyatt Harmer, to be able to see those guys break out, make plays, get some things go positively for them, and then come out with a win. I'm picking them to win this game and to win this game rather handily. Again, they had a huge win last year in this matchup. I think they'll do it again and just continue to get that momentum going into region play. Hilton Head Prep's not done yet. I think they're going to get this win and set themselves up to possibly win another one down the line and end up having a fairly successful season, especially for how it started. Give me HHP and give me HHP big.
You couldn't have
Big.
predicted just the start to go any more rocky than it did. The Dolphins, I mean, the weather had a little bit to do with that, but just inconsistent play. The offense was struggling, but to get that first win on the road as they did, now it's a completely different mindset as you get ready to face Dillon Christian. And I think by the way they've improved, by the way we've seen them play, especially last week with the way Harmer is really starting to find that mojo back under center, and the defense has been making some plays. I think Prep comes in with just a lot of momentum on their side and the readiness that we know how to win these games on the road against a team like Dillon Christian. We're going to go out and do it again, and I think they will. And it's going to be a great evening, in my opinion, for Doug McFadden, who happy to see that for him for some of the tough moments that we've seen from this team. McFadden's, that he's weathering the storm with these guys, and they're staying the course. And I think they put together a nice winning streak here, getting 2 dubs in a row.
It has happened before. Kevin Libby has a couple of quibbles with you, Marcus. He would like to point out that 2 wins are 100% better than 1 win, and and that you have just described.
That's right, Kev.
My thing with Hilton Head Prep is this. Great win on Friday against Augusta Christian. That is Augusta Christian team that has been struggling the last couple of years. Struggling. And I'm still not 100% sold on Hilton Head Prep yet. I think they can be a very solid team. I just don't think they have. I just don't think they're quite there yet. I think they do get the win on Friday night over Dillon Christian, but I'm intrigued to see how the rest of their season goes following this game on Friday night. But give me Hilton Head Prep and win on the road over Dillon Christian.
I don't think any of us are thinking they're going to defend.
I'm not. I wasn't trying to say that they're going to win, 6 games.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
saying that. I'm just saying,
but they might win this one, and they might
sounds
be
like though, Max.
Yeah. And I think that's a successful season for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I think so too. I still think they can be. I still believe they have enough talent to be better than what they are right now. That's what I think.
Have left.
I think
no question
what they are right now.
I think that's true.
PD, JP2, St. John. I mean, they got St. John's Christian. That's another win.
Yeah, that's the one I was.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's
a good one.
Winnable.
And that's at home.
But I'm just saying.
So, a chance to get.
I'm just saying.
I
like the win.
Seemed to be an advantage for them.
Yeah.
I'm
just saying. I like that
down
win on Friday night. Yeah. I'm just saying. I like that win that they had on Friday night. I just, I was hoping, they'd be, and it's been a weird season for them, especially that first 2-3 weeks of the season. That did not help them.
Well, and let's be real. If they won that, let's be real. If that St. Andrews game was finished and they came back and won 35-28, we would feel completely differently about this team, because they only would have lost the teams they were supposed to lose to, and they would have beaten the teams they were supposed to beat.
One would be different than 0-2, and the schedule.
And they didn't get to finish.
They had to play Buford Academy, which is a very good team this year. Dorchester Academy, another strong team, and then Bethesda, which is just outrageously good this year. So the schedule hasn't been. Easy at all early. It's gotten later now.
Decent chance there's.
I'm going to measure I'm going to measure, because I think JP2 is a good measuring stick for this team. Like, that's a game either team could win if they play well. So that's going to be the game I'm really going to say. Okay, can you find a way to beat JP2? You can beat JP2.
That was kind of the narrative last year too. And JP2
the
smoked.
team that you've struggled against recently.
Yeah.
So. But
that's the other
thing.
Like you said, Justin.
Wins at this part of the schedule, and
right.
We'll see if they can string some things together. It's just their schedule, especially playing at the classification that they are. It's not easy. Although 2-way maybe.
The other,
2A's tougher than 3A.
Sorry, the other thing I was going to say, Justin made a really good point as to, we had high expectations for that prep and JP2 game last year. And, obviously, I was there. I think, Wes, you were there for that JP2 Hilton prep game last year over for that afternoon delight. And it just did not go the way I think we thought it would go. And so I still have I have high expectations for prep because I really do believe in them. I just wish they were sitting in a better position than they are.
Teenage boys, I mean, we're enlisting our trust and belief in a group of teenage
14,
boys.
18-year-old kids, which can
some
be
days they're not going to have it. Some days it's not gonna work out in their favor.
Mama said there'd be days like this.
Yeah, man, it's a hard thing herding them cats and getting them.
Kevin Libby's about to put that in the comments. Marcus is another one of your quotes. Just letting you know that.
Mama said
have at it, Kevin.
There'll be days like this. My mama said. So we may or may not have this game on the schedule. I'm really unsure. Thomas Hayward originally was scheduled to play at Thomas Sumter.
Yes.
That game has disappeared off the Max Preps. Is still listed on the high school football history page. But Thomas Sumter is also scheduled to play somebody else that day. So I don't know what's happening. But if it's played, Thomas Hayward at 0-3 would go to Thomas Sumter, which is 2-4. THA leads the series big 12-4. They won 49-9 the last time they played in 2021. They won 5 straight. TSA hasn't beaten THA since 2011. The last 5 THA's won by an average of 40 plus. So if they do play this game, I do like the Rebels on the road to get rolling and get Tony O'Banner going and get this up.
I agree with that. How would that work if it doesn't get played? If Thomas Sumter plays somebody else, well, I guess THA would have to find another team, right? To play tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, you're not finding that at this point, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, probably not.
Well,
that's weird.
Give
me THA regardless.
That's the other thing is, here's the other thing. If they don't play Thomas Sumter and they don't have another team, that will be 2 weeks in a row that they don't have a team to play.
And 3 times this
Friday
season.
night.
That'll be 3 games they've
won.
And I think they only had 9 on the schedule to start. It's like crazy. Their season is disintegrating before us.
It's really bad. It's really bad for Thomas Hayward. I mean, you get a lot of time off, but it's almost too much time if you keep playing games that
play.
Are,
you need to play. Yep. That's the whole point, is to play.
Why do I feel like they had this problem last year? Did they have this problem last year?
Well, they had people forfeiting. Everybody in the region
had a bunch of
forfeiting to them last year. Yeah, like Faith Christian forfeited, Andrew Jackson forfeited. Nobody wanted to play him last year. And now apparently nobody wants to play him this year either. But do we all like Thomas Hayward if they play this game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, cool. Jefferson Davis and Cross, part 2 of the season. They play twice a year down there in 8-man because there's not enough of them. JDA 3-2, Cross 0-5. JDA leads the series 3-0. They won both last year. They won 52-6 earlier this year, August 22nd. Can't imagine things have changed that dramatically in a few weeks. So give me the Raiders big.
Yeah.
One of these days, Cross is going to get a win, but it's not going to be tomorrow. I like the Raiders.
I don't know. Conway Christian ain't walking through that door.
Yeah.
Conway Christian ain't here this year. That's the problem.
I know. They ain't walking through that door. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that was their win last year, but hey, they still got one.
We thought Palmetto Christian might be the answer this year.
That was not.
Yeah, I really thought they would, but hey, they got one last year, and maybe they will. They get to see him again, but I go in Raiders. As much as I'd love to see Cross get that elusive victory, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'll go with the Raiders.
All right. That brings us to the big 3. The big 3. Oh, actually, the big 4. We'll go HHCA at Pinewood Prep.
Yeah,
that's another.
That's a.
Is it big?
Maybe it's a big one, 5? Even though it's not a.
It's big 5. Geez, there's still a bunch more. HHCA at Pinewood Prep. That is a big game, but I think some of the
Yeah,
shine has come off of it just because it looks like it might be a pretty lopsided matchup. I mean, Pinewood
Yeah.
won 60-20 last year. They come in at
Yeah.
4-1, having played a pretty challenging schedule. HHCA also a pretty challenging schedule. They're sitting at 2-3. But against the better teams, HHCA has kind of been exposed up front. They just can't give Reed McCollum enough time against those really good teams that can really rush the passer and contain him. They don't have really enough of a running game outside of him to really keep defenses honest. If they have somebody who can spy him, he's going to be neutralized, and then they're just pretty one-dimensional. Defensively, they're scrappy. They play hard, but they're just overmatched in some of these matchups. And I'm afraid that this is going to be the same on Friday, and that Pinewood's going to be able to pull away in the second half, at least, if they don't just kind of blow them off the field. Not to the degree Hammond did last week, but I think they could, be up 4 touchdowns at halftime type deal.
You used a word there, JJ, that I think is perfect. They're scrappy. And typically when you think of HHCA, that's a word that you don't really think of.
Right.
I think this
Their
team
defenses have been scrappy.
definitely.
They have been scrappy.
Their
The
defense
junkyard
is
dog era
definitely-
with Jackson Lanier, that was
they were
scrappy.
scrappy.
They've been scrappy, but I kind of think that from a little bit that I've heard too, just that they don't quite have the same kind
Yeah,
of
and that's
muscle.
what I kind of meant.
they're-
Like they're
they don't have
still
those
got that
Bulldogs
scrap
anymore.
to them, but they just don't have the
Scrappy,
Jimmys
it's just
and the
not at that
Joes.
level as,
I would
as
Right.
it was
I would,
back a
well,
few years
here's
over.
what I would say. Those junkyard dogs were scrappy but refined at the same time.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
scrappy right now, but I don't think they're quite as refined as they were back in those days.
And they had some beef boys in the middle too. Like Jackson Lanier was playing edge
Yeah.
rusher coming off
Yeah.
the with his hand on
They
the
don't have
ground,
any
but he
Yeah,
had a
he was
size.
couple
playing some
big old
offense,
boys
too, in the
next to
playoffs.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was doing
And
it
that's
They
all.
just don't have
That's
any
what I'm
size.
alluding to.
They just
yeah.
don't have
don't have the
those kinds of
size.
breakthrough players like
gotta
a
have the
Speedy
little bit of both
Robinson or
there.
a Jackson Lanier or a JP Peduzzi. And it's just no disrespect to the guys on that roster. Obviously, Reed McCollum's a beast, but they just don't have enough weapons, and the line is
Right.
not. I don't think it's going to do enough to give
I think
their
they
quarterback
have.
enough time.
I think they got weapons.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they have
Pine with just a
weapons,
lot more
but-
weapons, a lot more explosiveness right now. They're
Yeah.
playing at home. I just don't see it happening for the Eagles this year
I-
in terms of that matchup. It's a tough one for
When they face
HHCA. I mean,
defenses with real
this is a
speed,
team that has
they're in
been
trouble.
perennial contenders, but I think this year they're falling a little bit short in terms
they
of
are.
the talent that they need to
Yeah.
compete at that level of
Yeah.
ski this year.
They
So I'm
just-
going with the Pinewood Prep Panthers.
I'm
Well,
going
'cause
with the Panthers too.
Against a lot of their opponents, McCollum can outrun the linebackers and even some of the DBs, but against these really good teams,
Agreed.
he can't,
Yep.
So, because he's a
Yeah.
linebacker. So,
Here's
ultimately.
my thing is this: they have the weapons. They just don't have the line up front to give Reed
Right,
McCollum
that's
enough
it.
time to throw to
Right.
those weapons.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
what
the
I was
problem.
pretty
I mean, I'll
much
say
alluding
And I
Hopkins done a
think
good
Ron
job.
Rizzi's
He's
gonna
been a
be-
circle
yeah.
receiver.
He's done a great job.
But he's
I
no.
mean, he's done a great job.
It's not like JP Peduzzi level. It's
No.
not like
No,
some of the guys they've had
But I
before.
think-
mean,
No,
but,
he's a
I
little
mean,
more
they
of
do
a
have some
possession
good
guy.
they do have some good talent, but it just overall offensively, it's just not explosive enough
Yeah.
to beat a.
They're just in that juicy center right now.
Yeah.
When they're better than the team,
I think they
beat 'em.
have-
And when
they
They're
have
not,
the
they don't.
tools. They have the tools that they need to have a really solid team, but they are still lacking in size. That is their biggest
Yep.
issue. And I hope,
Right.
Yep.
I hope going into
them
the
boys some
offseason, Ron
steaks.
Peduzzi figures out how to handle that situation and how to
Well,
fix
you
that
can't.
problem in terms of
Can't just
finding
make
it's
kids
hard
bigger.
to
with
fix
size.
it with just. I mean, it can be difficult at times.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
there
you
are
kind
other
of got
ways
what
to
you
do
got
this.
when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like the
And I-
NFL or college at the
It
transfer
ain't
portal.
fun. It ain't fun playing down there, man.
Yeah.
It takes a special kind to want to go
Yeah.
bang heads
No.
for
I
3 hours
think
every
Hillneck
Friday.
Christian Academy. I think Pinewood Prep plays and beats Hillneck Christian Academy like Hammond did. Because if you look at that game
Yeah.
between Pinewood and Hammond, only a 7-point game. I
It
think
was
it's
a
the
battle.
same result on Friday night for Hillneck Christian. They get mollywopped by Pinewood Prep. I'm going to take the
Mollywopped.
Panthers.
It's a mollywhopping. Yeah, you gotta watch out for the trash yard mutt. He always gets rocked, and I mean emotionally.
Junkyard
Um,
mutt.
yeah, it's the trash yard mutt though. He messed it up. Don't mess with the mutt. Buford. All right, now we're into the big four. Buford Academy at Colleton Prep. Jimmy Searson will be there with bells on. He's at Bucky's tonight, or made a stop at Bucky's tonight, as he let us know in the group chat. This is
Yes.
one we've been looking forward to for quite some time. We kind of knew pretty early on that it was going to be de facto region championship game, and that has transpired. Teams going opposite directions in a sense, because VA was 5-0, and then they just lost last week to Dorchester Academy. Had their ground game really shut down. Their offense was pretty well neutralized. And DA was able to pull away with 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Colleton Prep going the other direction. Started off bumpy with the loss to JP2. They won 5 straight. They are rolling. They're at home. This is a tough pick. But I'm leaning Colleton Prep just because I see it as super evenly matched, and I like the momentum they have and the fact they're at home. Those 2 factors together, I feel like, are kind of the tiebreaker for me. I also think that Colleton's pass game is pretty effective. The one thing that I worry about with Colleton is they did have a tough time neutralizing the ground game for JP2. Obviously, that's the worst game they played all year, but BA can really run it down your throat with Nick Underwood.
Yeah.
So let's see. But
that was back around.
Pass defense is tremendous, but
yeah.
On the contrary, they did kind of stuff up Tony O'Banner. To be honest,
yes, they did.
They kind of stuffed down Tony O'Banner and put him behind the the chains a lot of times in that game.
Look, I think
they held that run game.
This Colleton Prep defense is really trending in the right direction. This entire team is. I mean, the statement win they got at Colleton Academy on the road, that's where you knew that this team has really found their game is at the midway point in the season and just demolished Clarendon Hall to tune of 56-0, a game that should win, but left no doubt.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of the way Kelly is playing. I mean, he has become a stud out there, and I mean, this offense has been producing. They have found a way to really show that electricity on both sides of the ball, and this is a team that knows how to win big games. They've done this in the past in some big time contests, and I just am really impressed by the cohesiveness and the way they've been playing defense these last few weeks. Obviously, Colleton Academy is a great team. But I think that what is most impressing me is just their quarterback and how poised he is and how he continues to deliver and make good throws of the football. Buford Academy, I mean, you look at how well they have done this year. They've got a pretty solid defense, but they still gave up 28 to Carolina Academy, which ended up being a close game until BA was able to pull away. And they've played some teams that certainly were trying to get things going, but to Dorchester Academy, they were able to put up some points on that defense, and I think Colleton Prep, seeing what they have done in this schedule so far, is more than capable of finding some explosive plays on offense, playing at home with all the momentum in the world after what we have seen the last 2 weeks. I just don't think BA is going to do enough to slow them down. I think Colleton Prep's the hotter team at this point coming to the game, and playing on their home field is another added plus for them. And I think they're going to find a way. I'll say Nick Underwood might have he'll have a say in this one. He'll have some chunk yardage, but I think Colleton Prep's defense is going to lock in enough to get a couple of stops. And I think Mr. Owens is going to cook out there on Friday night and deliver the dub.
You're taking the over?
A region championship potentially for the Warhawks.
You're taking the over, it sounds like. You like a high scoring game?
I think I'm leaning that direction.
Huh? Yeah. I kind of do too. I think both teams are going to kind of let it all hang out.
Yep.
I'm thinking definitely a high scoring game, but as much as we talk about Nick Underwood, it's not all about him.
No, it's not.
They've got some other guys that can do some things as well.
Another
Jace
Nick.
Falk, Nick.
I like
Certainly what they can do on the front with defense. This probably is not a shock, but to you guys, certainly, I'm taking BA with the upset.
Yeah.
I think they just do enough on the road to get the job done, especially coming off that loss last week. I mean, when this team has been winning, and they've been winning a lot lately,
Yeah.
and even I think back going into media day and the situation with trying to figure out how they were going to look, and I really undervalued this team big time. One loss, can really teach you a lot about your team and help it grow. This is a dynamite showdown between the two top teams in 1A. I'm going to take Buford Academy to get the win
Well, I
in the
think
upset
Williamsburg may
on the
have
road.
something to say about that in terms of
Yep.
overall 1A, but especially
And
this region.
Dorchester. Are we
And
forgetting about
Dorchester Academy
Dorchester?
as well. So I
Yeah.
Just
I'm not going to
yeah.
go out on a limb and say that these are the best two teams in the region. Now, obviously, College Prep is showing that they could have that, have that distinction. But I mean, this is obviously, in all intents and purposes, looks like it's the region title bout in
Right.
September.
Yeah.
So
No, it
it's,
is. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It essentially is. There's
unless some
almost
crazy
no
things
way it
happen
couldn't
between
be.
now and then, it's
Something really
all,
crazy
I mean,
have
all
to happen.
likelihood, the winner of this game is the region champion and gets
Yeah.
that.
It's almost all been played out already. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty close.
Yeah,
for excitement in October.
My thoughts, I look at this game and I think this one goes down to the wire. I think these two teams are very evenly matched. They play some
Very.
different styles
Yeah.
on both
Yeah,
sides of the
Marcus
ball.
said
But
upset. I don't even know if you can. I think it's just a
I don't
pick
think
'em
I wouldn't
game.
call it
I
an
don't
upset.
know
I
if I
think
could
these.
call it.
I,
Yeah, I
I,
wouldn't
I
either.
would be shocked
With
to
that
see
being
either
on
of
the
these teams.
road, maybe.
Yeah, maybe pick 'em
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this:
Three
outside
points
of
or
Reed
less.
McCollum,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
point and a
say
half.
minus 2.5
Yeah.
Outside of
potential.
Reed-
It's or pick 'em.
outside of Reed McCollum, I think that Cale Owens is one of the best quarterbacks in our Skeeza area. And he can do it all. I mean, he's been averaging a lot of rushing yards a game. He's been passing the ball well. The best part is for him is he's got weapons to throw to, and that offensive line's been holding up well against a lot of teams.
Right.
I think I like Carlton Prep in this one. I think at home, a big game, the crowd's going to show up out in Walterboro, and I think Carlton Prep gets the job done against Buford Academy. But I think this game could be very close. But give me Carlton Prep. I'll take him by one score.
I expect this one to be a pinball game, like a back and forth,
Oh, yeah.
wild one. I think it's going to be a wild
100%.
one. I think Jimmy Searson's going to enjoy himself.
Pinball game.
Yeah.
That is what
Cale
it
Owens,
is. That
by
is
the
a
way,
classic.
Kale's got 1260 passing, 14 touchdowns, 5 picks, 73 carries for 476 and 6 touchdowns. So he's having a good year, putting up nice numbers. Just junior, got him for another year.
Yeah, they do.
All right. And then there were 3. The Jasper County clash, for lack of a better term for right now. Hardyville fans wear camo and orange. I just got the missive. Hardyville invading Ridgeland on homecoming night. Bold move. We talked earlier about the perfect homecoming opponent. Georgetown makes a nice one because they're coming from a long way away, so they're not very good. So they're probably not bringing a big crowd. So you have homecoming, you draw in a bunch of your own people that wouldn't normally come to the game, and you boost that gate up. This one, they went the opposite originally. They're trying to pack the house for at least 1 week. So we've got a homecoming clash, first meeting between rivals in 14 years. There's been a little bit of smack talking going on back and forth. You got a lot of Jasper County high school graduates who are now allegiant to Hardyville. So, they're shaming them for turning their back on their alma mater. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be spicy in Ridgeland. I am very biased. But I will say a week ago, I was like, oh yeah, we got this in the bag. And then, get right game. Ridgeland goes out and puts 70 on Burke, and I know it's Burke, but confidence is a powerful drug, and they're feeling good right now. So, I think it's going to be a fight. I do think Hardyville has more talent. Ridgeland's big up front, but I think the speed and athleticism on Hardyville's side is going to be the difference. I think Hardyville's going to put up some points, and it's going to be hard for Ridgeland to keep pace. But we'll see how it goes. I expect it to be an all-out battle, but I'm going Canes all the way.
Everybody's healthy on both sides that you can tell.
I mean, Kyrell's still out for Hardyville, but everybody else is good. And then I don't know about Ridgeland. I haven't heard about any major injuries.
I'm gonna say what I've said since I saw them against Whale Branch and called that game. You know, with Ridgeland, they've got athletes, they've got talent, but that offensive line needs to do a much better job.
Yep.
They got to prove it to me
They
again.
gotta move. They gotta move.
That they need to move and force their way down into the defensive area to give Tyshawn some opportunities to make plays through the air, on the ground, whatever. Obviously, Crawford is a dude, and they've got some other guys that are tremendous. They played tremendously defensively against Whale Branch in that 8-0 loss. The defense is going to come out and be ready to go. Can they make enough plays offensively? And then, the next week I saw Hardyville, and I called Hardyville against Hilton Head, and obviously that went the way it went. But Hardyville's got some athletes. With the fact that this is as tough a rivalry as it is, even though it's on the road, I'm with you, JJ. I'm going to take Hardyville by a couple of touchdowns. I just think they have too much firepower right now, and especially with the plethora of ways they can go at quarterback that you were talking about last week. Give me Hardyville by a couple of touchdowns. I think it should be a hard-nosed, hard-fought game. I'm thinking like a 31-14, 31-17, something like that. Should be a good one for you guys.
I can dig it. You should see both quarterbacks, Kyron Jamison and Emiliano Santiago.
Yeah, I mean, Hardyville's had some explosive plays this year. They've been a tough team to beat in big-time games in the first few weeks, and I just like the swagger and the excitement of this Hardyville team. You can throw that out sometimes in the rivalry game, but I just think Hardyville has some more weapons and more explosive players than what we've seen for Ridgeland right now, and I think it's going to be a good night for your Hurricanes, JJ. I think Hardyville gets it done and owns this rivalry Friday night.
Max, bark twice. Sorry, if you're in Milwaukee.
I look at you said, Justin, the Ridgeland is big up front, but not very effective, at least from what I've seen this year. And that's the biggest issue I have. And I think that's the biggest issue we all have with Ridgeland right now is that, they got size, but they aren't effective right now. And they aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing on the offensive line. And I think
they were effective last week, but it was against Burke.
They were, but it's Burke. It's Burke. I can't. You put up a 70 burger. That's great and all, but you played Burke, and that's my thing. I think Ridgeland's got the tools they need to be a good team, but they just aren't playing like they should be. And I think for those reasons, I got to go with Hardyville in this one. I think Hardyville's, against Hilton Head. Obviously, I was there alongside Marcus Walsh for the game we had on WHHI between them and Hilton Head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think my thing is that they impressed me in that game. Despite the score, they impressed me with how hard they played, even when they were down. Probably their best player in Kamari Brown. So I think, you look at all of this, I think they got more talent. Kamari Brown's obviously back for this game, which is a good thing for them. And you got Emiliano Santiago. You also have Kyron Jamison, who, by the way, I saw him warming up, and I was like, he's got the body of a quarterback, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the body of
he
a
looks
quarterback.
like Josh Allen out there, man. He's big.
Yes, he does. He does. He needs to get – he's going to improve, and I think he's going to be a great factor for them next season. Yeah. But I think you look at this team, they got a lot of talent. I think they get the job done in Ridgeland on Friday night. Give me the Canes, but I think they only win by about 2 scores.
All right, we shall see. And then there were 2 north of the Broad, big battle. Whale Branch at Battery Creek.
Ooh.
This is literally
Oh.
a Bluffton May River situation where you had one school split off the other, so it's a bitter rivalry. Whale Branch coming in at 2-3. They started off pretty strong, sitting at 2-1. They've been blown out the last couple of games against strong teams. Battery Creek is at 1-4. They are coming off the big loss to Buford, but they had a win the week before against Bethune-Bowman. Whale Branch leads the series 9-4. They won in 2023, 45-12. We lost this one to the Storm last year. And that was after the Dolphins had interrupted a 5-game skid in the series with a 19-13 win in 2022.
I should
The
know.
Warriors turned it
I
back around.
was there.
You were on that one, yeah?
I
That was a good one. That was a
fun
wild
game.
one. This one should be a good one. Here's one thing I will guarantee you about it as I scroll up for one of Kevin Libby's many posts here. Who wins for band, Whale Branch or Creek? Everybody wins.
Correct.
Both
Everybody
these bands
wins.
are
Correct.
together. But Creek is that's the creme de la creme.
Creek is
that's
nuts.
as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Creek is
Unbelievable.
That's
Whale
a
Branch.
bonus level
Speaking
band.
of
Scrappy.
that game, you
Whale
said
Branch got a good scrappy
you
band.
mentioned that the bands will be good and it'll be fun to see live, but there's a special guest that's going to actually wait.
Yeah.
That's sorry, I'm
That's
looking like
that's
a
next
couple
week,
weeks
I
away.
think. Whale
Sorry.
Branch's homecoming.
Yes, stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm
Yeah.
jumping the gun a bit, but that's Whale Branch's
But
homecoming.
yeah,
They got
that's
a special
coming up.
treat
But
we'll
Whale
tell you
Branch's
about.
homecoming.
So
They're bringing
keep
in
an
the
eye
South
out for a
Carolina
couple of
State
weeks
band.
down the road. But hey,
It's gonna be
during
fun.
the meantime, we got the Whale Branch and Battery Creek marching bands, which are still top
That's right.
of the line. I mean, top
You
of the
will get to
line.
hear them play
Yep.
off tomorrow, guaranteed.
But yeah,
As far as the
yeah,
game goes,
but hey,
I-
this is gonna be a great game. I'm not sure. I mean,
Whale Branch is kind of a mystery right now.
yeah,
We
I
haven't
mean,
seen them in a couple of
when you look
weeks.
at what Whale Branch has done this year, they showed out against Hardyville. They shut out Ridgeland. Or yeah, I mean, in a tightly played game. They've played some solid opponents from then on, but I mean, this is a rebuilding team with a group that I think has played better than expected so far this year. On the other side, you have a Battery Creek team that they were in some fights this season. They had a couple of tough
Mhm.
losses to JP2
They did.
and Keenan, which would have been a really big win for them. I was really impressed with how they played against Keenan, and then didn't show up against Buford. This is an interesting pick, really is, because I mean these two teams, they've had their moments this year, and at times they've looked to rather not like themselves. But I mean, when you take a look at this game as a whole, this is a Whale Branch team that you expected them to rebuild. Battery Creek with some talent that's really found a way to battle and grow this game or throughout the season. I kind of think looking at this Creek team, I kind of think they're due for a big win. They compete hard in a couple of games early on in the year. They were shellacked at Buford, but that's an Eagles team that is really starting to find their own. I'm just still not sold. I think this Whale Branch team is going to compete, and they're going to make it interesting. I just feel like Battery Creek has a little bit more, and I think they're well primed to playing in this environment. In a game like this, I feel like they're going to show out and just find a way to make the big plays and take advantage of playing at home in a matchup like this. I got Battery Creek in a very tight one by less than the possession.
All right.
I agree with just about everything that you said, Wes. I really do. But I think Whale Branch has a few more athletes that could possibly make a play late. I've seen both these teams. Both, I think, are very defensive oriented. Seeing Whale Branch in an earlier season matchup, against Ridgeland, they did what they did. I've seen Creek a couple of times. They had a tough fight against HHCA despite losing that game 36-20. Then of course I saw them against Buford last week and called that game. And I just don't see the spark from Battery Creek at this point. I think both of these teams definitely shine on the defensive end. And if everything is set up okay with with certainly their ability to make plays, Bowers and the other kid whose name is escaping me right now. I
Harris,
really think
Javion Shady.
yes, Harris. Um, I think those guys have a chance to make a big play or two. I think it's going to be really tight. I expect a low scoring game.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to go Whale Branch on the road by I'll say Whale Branch on the road by a touchdown. I'm thinking it might be like a 21-14, 17-10 type situation. I think it's going to
Yeah,
be a defensive slobber knocker.
yeah, I'm with you on
Yeah.
that. Max, who you got?
Here's my thing. I think, I think Whale Branch is a little bit of a mystery right now, but I don't think they're that big of a mystery. I think they're the clear better team than Battery Creek. I think Battery Creek has fought hard, but I just don't see that they haven't impressed me this year. Whale Branch has impressed me, and I think Whale Branch runs away with this one. I don't think it's a close game. I think Whale Branch runs over Battery Creek. I think they get the win.
Interesting. I'm with you, Marcus. Low scoring game. I think both teams' defenses are pretty solid. I thought Battery Creek's defense played decent last week. They didn't give up a ton.
Yeah,
They
didn't give up a ton of big plays at all.
their offense couldn't get a first down,
Right.
and then they couldn't punt it very well. So Buford was starting on their side of the 50 all night long.
All night long.
Every
And
time.
so
Every
I
time.
think.
Yeah.
I think that defensively, both these teams are well equipped to handle what the other team does, which is not a lot. I mean, they're both run heavy offenses. They're not real exotic. So I think the defenses dominate this one. Home field's definitely an advantage, but I feel like Whale Branch. I have a little more trust in their trench play. They've got some veteran guys down there. Ivy Watson is going to be a
What a
major
dude.
factor, like he always is. And so I'm going with the Warriors for the Battle of the Bands, and or Warriors for the game, Creek for the Battle of the Bands. So
I'll concur with that.
allegiances. All right, so we're split up a little bit there though. Right? Yeah.
Good.
West is on Creek.
Yeah.
All right, now the granddaddy of them all, the one you've been waiting for, the Bridge Bowl. What is it? Edition number 22.
It is
Hilton Head
number
leads
22.
12-9. They won 42-7 last year, which was a bit of an anomaly, at least in recent years, because 6 of the previous 12 meetings were decided by one possession, including we had back-to-back nail biters, 4 points or less in 22 and 23. So I expect this one to follow that trend. I think last season was a perfect storm in sense of Bluffton being depleted after that May River game and just not getting off the bus, even though they were at home, not showing up for that
I
one.
think you have to go back.
I
think you have to go back to 2021, if memory serves. I know Daniel and I called it where it was the 16-7 game. I believe that was 21, and that's been the biggest the margin has been. Hence, I put in my preview that for the last 4 or 5 years, the biggest margin is 9 points. I mean, it has been really tight. I'll just kind of take it from there if you guys don't mind, because I'm not picking the game. I see this going, a myriad of ways, because these two teams, with the exception of last year on the field, seem very even. I think Bluffton is definitely more apt to throw the football. Not saying they can't run it, but they're definitely more apt to throw it. I look at their defense, and both teams have solid defenses looking to fill, a couple of spots here, a couple of spots there. The one key difference, besides what they do offensively in terms of throwing it in the case of Bluffton and running it in the case of Hilton Head, is that in terms of putting up points, Hilton Head's special teams, I give a little bit of an edge to. I think the big key for this one, and don't forget about Cole Lindstedt either.
Yeah, I know.
Daniel Court made a really good point with me with his buddies, the Lindstedt family. I think a huge key for this game now is obviously Bluffton's going to be ready, and they remember last year, but because of the weather and the fact that as the night continues on, we could see quite a bit of rain. Cross your fingers and toes for our sake that doesn't happen, or at least that we don't get much. It could make a long night for Jeremy Pope, Maria Soden, and Joe Keith, to name three of our crew. But you know, this game could turn into a slugfest on the ground, and if that's the case, I might favor Hilton Head in this one.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not
Yeah.
picking it. Obviously,
Right.
there's a lot riding on this game with Hilton Head. The fact that Joe
Yeah.
Monmonier and company are going to be, honored. Rest in peace, Joe. We love you, buddy. This is going to be fun, and I've been so pumped up for this game. I think this is going to be the biggest game that we call this year and that we broadcast. And I wouldn't be shocked if
Well, you
you're
got
hearing me
Bluffton May
crackle
River
like
on
crazy at
Halloween.
the end of the game.
So don't
That's
forget about
right.
And
that one.
that's true, and that's always a huge game as well. I actually have a note on that game in my parting
Yeah.
thought here in a few minutes. But in terms of this one, I think we're going to be in for a great game. It could go a
Oh, yeah.
myriad of ways. Strap in, get your popcorn ready, throw an extra jacket on in case that rain does come. We're
Yeah.
going to be in for a wild ride tomorrow night.
Yeah, we're looking at like
I'm
40,
excited.
50% chance rain starting around kickoff. So it'll be
Yeah.
a coin flip situation. We'll monitor that throughout the day. I don't know what we'll do about it, but bring your rain jacket, put it in the car
Yeah.
tonight so you don't forget. Max Araj, no pick from Marcus Walsh. You want to go next or Wes? Let's go Max.
I'll
Let's get you in
go.
here.
I'll go. I think, obviously we know how the last year's game went, but we should remind everyone that game was moved 3 times in terms of the date.
That's right.
So
Sure was.
very
Yep.
unusual.
Sure was.
Very
Mhm.
unusual way to have that game end up being played. I look at this game and I think both teams are very evenly matched. I like how both teams have been playing as of late. Obviously, tough loss for Bluffton against what is a very strong Lucy Beckham team.
Mhm.
But I still think they are one of the more talented teams I have seen in this area in quite some time. I like both of these teams, but I think Bluffton wants this one, especially with how last year went. I think they're going to come in focused like they have been for most of their games, if not all of their games this season. They've come in super focused, ready to, pound on whoever they play. I don't think they, run away with this one. I think this game is going down to the wire. I think it's a 1-score affair. I'll take the Bobcats on the road in a 1-score affair against Hilton Head.
All right.
I
Wes
mean,
Kerr?
this is the game that most of us have been looking towards at least the last couple weeks. We really got to start to see
Mhm.
what these teams could be here in 2025, and
The numbers are so
I've been
close.
going back and forth because you look at what these teams have done, bluffed and soared out of the gates, offensive explosion, and they've kept it going for the most part. Had that one stumble against a good Beckham team on the road, but this is an offense. It's tough to hold down. I mean, you got Carnell Warren. Even though you have some injuries on the running back front, you still have some guys that are going to be a problem to hold down. The offensive line is playing fairly well, but it's mostly been Aiden McCarthy doing his thing, and Seahawks are going to be in for a big test. And on the other side, you have an offense which has been primarily focused on running the ball, but man, Hilton has some dudes, and that's where you have to consider the Seahawks in a game like this because Jeremiah Walter's been a beast, can make plays on both ends. Zarnecki as well. They've got some. It seems like BJ Payne, and we've talked about this before. This team can lie in the weeds and show up in a big game like this, and we saw what happened last
Every
year.
year.
I mean, I think Bluffton was certainly looking like the team that was going to find a way to score early and often. The Seahawks just shut them down. I don't think it's a blowout like it was last year, but I think Hilton Head likes what they've been seeing so far from that unit. The defense has been playing very well lately. They've got some guys that just know how to come in and make big plays on that team. It is hard to overlook what the Seahawks can do on that side of the ball, and I just like the way that they're playing heading into this game. Now they've had some hiccups from time to time, and this Bluffton offense, by the way that they have shown themselves throughout this year, they are going to be a handful to stop. But there's something about the Seahawks in a rivalry game like this at home, at the Nest, which will always bring in a bunch of loud and excited students and fans to come to a game like this. I mean, this is a huge game with region implications. I mean, the winner of this game will have a great track towards a top 2 finish, in my opinion. It's a massive game with a lot on the line. I just think Hilton Head is going to find a way to make sure their defense shows up, picking up a turnover or two, and just wreaking havoc for a Bluffton team that's going to have to execute, and McCarthy's going to have to make some plays. Now, Carnell Warren can show that he's the best player on the field, and if he can come up with some big plays early, I think Bluffton can ride that momentum. But I just think Hilton is going to be well prepared for a game like this. They're coming off the emotion of a nice win at Hampton County. I just like the way they're playing as a whole, and I think they find a way to make a couple of big defensive stops and produce some opportune play on the offensive side to steal some possessions and come away with what will be an emotional win for the amazing Joe Momonier, who we miss so dearly. And it's going to be a great night to be a Seahawk at the end of it. I'm going to Hilton Head in a one-possession game and another thriller in this Bridge Bowl rivalry.
Yeah, I'm like you. I've gone back and forth on it too. Man, I was thinking, I think Bluffton's looking like they might get it done this year, and then they slipped up last week and gave me some doubt. Hilton Head has been really solid against the pass. Jalen Singletary's little zigzag touchdown notwithstanding.
Yeah.
But even in that loss to James Island, they were pretty solid. So I don't know, man. That it's hard to go against that Bluffton offense because
Really
they're
is.
going to put up some points. But I also know nobody grinds more film than BJ and his staff, and so they're going to know how Lucy Beckham was able to limit them. They're gonna have a game plan. I think they're going to be able to frustrate them a little bit. I mean, you can't stop everybody, but
Right.
I think they're going to throw the kitchen sink at Carnell and mix up some coverages and just try to get Aiden out of a rhythm. I don't know how effective that'll be, but if you can get just a couple of stops, I like the way that Hilton Head can control the ball and the clock when they want to.
Yep.
But their passing game is quite effective. It's more than just a courtesy passing game at this stage. So I think their balance on offense I like a lot. And then, that secondary is really going to be tested, but I think their front seven is really strong and will do a good job of pressuring and containing McCarthy. I think I like Hilton Head, and like you said, Marcus, I like their kicking game. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being a field goal
Comes
game
down to a
in
kick.
Hilton Head's favor.
Advantage Seahawks. Sexton's been
Watch
great.
the Bluffton
this
kicker,
season.
who we
Yep.
can't name, boot one. That'd be funny.
I do have one question. How healthy is Cordell Hawley right now?
Seems to be all right. I mean, he's carried a
Okay,
moderate
I haven't
load
heard
the last
anything this
couple of
week
weeks.
in terms of that. So
because he
I
could
mean,
he might be one of those X factors,
For sure.
for Bluffton, especially
need to
because
be.
of how well Hilton Head plays against the passing game. I think Cordell Hawley is going to have to put on a really good game.
I think he had 7 carries against Hampton, and he had 11 last week. So they're kind of easing him back. He should be pretty close to full go, I would think.
and with as many huge games as we have this week, I just want to verify we're going to see you out there tomorrow, right, Max?
Yeah, I will be
yeah,
there.
he'll be
Going
there.
to be with us. Okay.
And
Yeah,
Kevin Libby will be
Yeah, to
picking
try
up
to
Jeff Riley
figure that
from
out.
the
Paid.
Ville tomorrow.
want to get
Yep.
paid.
I will be planning on going the first half, and I'll be back to run the Loco Pigskin live show about
That's right.
9:30 or so as we find a way to recap what should be a wild Friday night of, as you said, so many rivalry matchups and a couple of other important ones as well. So
Yep.
looking forward to hopefully getting a lot of updates, and our friends will give us all the latest on what is going on
Yes,
around
sir.
the Loco, and which should be a fun Friday night with a lot of impactful games at the midway point of the season.
Looking forward to it. Shout out to more of our sponsors, Hudson's Seafood House on the Docks, the presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episodes every Tuesday this fall on the Lowco Media Network. Great place for seafood sunsets and cocktails on Hilton Head Island. Hudson's Seafood House on the Docks. Twinge and Twombly, personal injury attorneys in Beaufort. They've got a rare name, but they provide remarkable service at Twinge and Twombly. HHI Windows and Doors, our old friend, Coach Barron from Hilton Head Prep. Trading in coaching basketball for a new kind of screens and improving your view of the Loco at HHI Windows and Doors. Then we have our official wrestling sponsor, Reverence Wrestling Club, the presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. Almost wrestling season, boys. Just a little over a month to go. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. And they take care of you over there. They always got your back. Jay's Barbershop. All right, parting thoughts, gents. Marcus, I'll let you lead us off.
Okay. I'll tell you, somebody I'm not throwing under the bus is Bob Stevens. He looked mighty good in that Cleveland Guardians golf shirt that I saw him wearing during the broadcast the other night.
He's repping those guards.
Always great to see Bob. Saw him certainly with the game on in the background. They got beat tonight, but I have a feeling that it's just a matter of time before they get a playoff spot at least.
Well, they got the Rangers, and the Rangers are trending downward.
That's right.
So I think they've got it in pretty good shape.
Tigers
moving forward.
A winner tonight.
Tigers, of course, have the Red Sox, and the Red Sox obviously have something to play for. So I'd say advantage Cleveland in winning the division at this point.
I agree for sure. I mentioned that I had news. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's funny because, obviously I'm a Braves fan, but my grandfather's a Cleveland Guardians fan and has been a fan of the Cleveland baseball for the last 30 years. So whenever the Braves aren't doing good, I just switch over to the Cleveland Guardians because that's just, my second team. So I always root for the Guardians whenever it comes around.
I will say,
made me a fan back in the day. I had an Indian hat and everything.
Love it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right.
I will say that the game between May River and Bluffton that we've talked about a little bit is actually moved to the night before Halloween, so that'll be October 30th. So that'll give us Thursday night football. There are several games
out there to cover that one.
There are several games. I think that Hilton Head Prep and HHCA got moved to Thursday night as well. From what I saw, I do believe I can double check for you guys for tomorrow.
Off of Halloween because kids have to go trick or treating.
We've had Halloween.
I'm not exactly sure the reason, but it's multiple teams and games.
I wonder if it's an official issue or like they have enough officials.
Not exactly sure, but I saw this via the Bluffton
another game already scheduled
Facebook page. I think it was
on the schedule. So. Yeah,
so I saw it with the schools for sure.
We'll have a lot of, potentially 2 nights of football to cover. We also have JP2 at Pinewood Prep already scheduled for the 30th of October. So
there you go. I also want to
Thursday night games.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
I get moved to Thursday. I'm going to stay on Friday, and
that'll give me a chance to go see some Friday night football too. I also real quick
the Bluffton Bowl. Is that what you call it?
Right,
Bluffton Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also real quick want to thank Nick DeSimone, your neighbor, JJ.
Yeah.
He needed a pinch hitter for his podcast, The Indulgent Hour. And so I was on with him for the Indulgent Hour and a half, and we talked about life, sports. It's been a while since I got connected with Nick anyway. He certainly can, for sure.
Every time we run into each other on the street,
DCYP years ago.
We can both
we talked about sports, life, talked about the Funky Bunch a good amount, and then of course got into food. I forgot to mention a couple of things with him that I'll mention right now. Number 1, chocolate makes everything better. Yeah. Number 2, bacon makes everything better.
I was going to say so does bacon.
You put chocolate and bacon together, and it's just amazing. And I forgot to mention in the restaurants that we talked about, because I was just going through a slew of my favorites and my favorite dishes from them here in the Low Country. I forgot to mention truffles, and I live across the way from truffles. You get a really nice and relatively healthy dinner there with the salmon, green beans, and rice. I mean, that's hard not to beat.
Hey,
that is hard to beat.
We used to go there a ton before we had kids. They
Hey,
still have
nothing
that pot
beats.
pie. That pot pie is so good.
They do. I haven't
Yeah, they
had
do.
it, but
Hey,
they do.
Hey, by the way, nothing beats their French onion soup.
Yeah.
Nothing beats French onion soup from Truffle.
If
Oh,
you're
it's
into
so
that
good.
sort of thing,
Check
you
it
got to
Anyway,
be into that
Right.
sort of thing. That's not for everybody. But yeah, truffles,
am.
mighty good,
I'm a-
mighty good spot, mighty good spot.
Yep.
We got so many of them.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Max Garage, what do you got, buddy? I
I
see
mean,
a,
that's a sponsor.
a Uni Watch queued up. Let me
Yeah,
get
it.
mine out of
You
there.
know, yeah, it's that time. It's that time for Max's uni check. And so I got 3 here. One of them is actually playing tonight, but I'll get
I
to
was
that in a
gonna
second.
say.
The first one is this from Arizona
Ooh.
State.
Hey now.
Their blackout jerseys with those
Clean.
cool looking helmets.
love
Very very good looking helmets. I do love
Those
them.
are-
They
oh,
are really
Those
cool.
are sick.
Oh,
They're gonna be
those
wearing those.
helmets are fresh.
That's too legit to
Yeah.
quit,
I
man.
mean, they've
they're-
always had the
Dang.
sickest logos. Their logos are
Yeah.
sick.
Oh yeah, they're great. But they are wearing these. I believe either they're playing tomorrow night or they're playing on Saturday night. I just can't remember what day it is, but they will be wearing them this week. The other one is
I believe it's Saturday.
UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso.
The miners.
See if I can get up here. These are
Ooh,
throwbacks
Ooh.
for jerseys. Very cool looking, very
Those are
unusual
kinda
colors. But I do like
yeah, the
them.
teal. I like it. Oh, I
Yeah,
like it.
here's the helmet.
Actually, really like that color.
Old school look.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Look at that helmet.
I dig
Look
it.
at that helmet.
I
that
love
helmet's
that.
cool.
It's like a
That's a
Hawaiian
cool
vibe.
helmet. I like that
Yeah.
old school look.
We're Hawaii.
And then,
and
of
El Paso,
course, tonight,
go ahead.
on Thursday Night Football, the Arizona Cardinals have shown up with their new
Yeah.
NFL rivalry jerseys.
So
Love 'em.
these
Really cool looking.
I noticed these right out of the gate. I disagree. It looks like you're wearing the 20-year-old JV whites that can't get clean anymore. They look dirty. They look so dirty.
I'll
and
tell you what,
clean.
those uniforms look
I don't
good,
like-
but
I don't
they haven't
mind
helped
them.
Marvin Harrison Jr. He has been MIA.
Yeah.
Got one
in this
early,
team.
and then he's been
Yes.
shut out
17-6 Seattle right now.
Yep.
11:04 to go on the ball
I
struggling
game.
don't
to get
mind
it
these
going.
jerseys. I kind of like them.
I like them
But I
too,
do
Max.
agree
I'm
with
with
you,
you.
I
Justin.
think
They
they
do
look
kinda-
dirty.
I
I'm just
don't
saying.
disagree with you on that, Justin. I still like them though. I think they're cool looking. I like those helmets. Plus, I don't know if you
Kind
guys
of a
saw what they
cream
did
look.
with the field. The field is absolutely beautiful.
It
Let
looks
me see if
awesome.
I can find it here.
Agreed.
Yeah, hold on.
Agreed on the field.
let's see.
I don't like the stains. Jackson
if
Smith
I can find
and
the picture.
Jigba is selling tonight. He's messing me up.
I've got him in all 3 of my
Yeah, he
fantasy. Or no, I
He's-
take that back. I've got him in 2 of my 3 fantasy leagues. My
He's-
brother has him in the other one.
He's selling tonight.
He's a dude.
Yeah.
Not tonight. He's not. He's
Anyway, I can't find the field.
not
But
doing nothing tonight.
Oh,
I
I see.
eventually the rest of the
Oh yeah, you don't know
rest
about the
of the
kids,
NFL
but they
rivalry
say yeah, he
jerseys-
sold. That means he didn't do good.
It's another.
the rest of the NFL
I got
rivalry
you.
jerseys are
lingo.
yeah. Of course, the rest of the NFL rivalry jerseys that are coming out for this season, I'll probably show them when they come around. I do know Miami Dolphins have one that's very unusual because I've never seen them wear all black jerseys before, so that's going to be interesting.
Wow.
I'm not
Kind
a
of
fan
Miami
black
Vice
for the sake of
vibes.
black.
Yeah.
Now I do like Miami Vice vibes. Those are always good. Speaking of
Yes.
which, I'm
It's
wearing
kind
the
of
party animal
Miami.
jersey
It's
tonight.
kind of that. It's kind of that Miami Vice vibe, except it's like with Dolphins colors, like that teal and orange to go with it instead of
Yeah.
the pink and
Yeah, I can dig it.
turquoise or whatever it is. So it's a little interesting, but there's
All right.
quite a few
We'll check 'em
others,
out.
including Seattle Seahawks as well. So
Yeah.
obviously I'll show those when they come
They have a
around
great
because
color scheme.
teams will eventually
we do.
start wearing them.
I love the Seahawks colors.
Speaking of Seattle, I will keep the discussion on them. I'll go the baseball route though. Cal Raleigh has just hit his 60th home run
Yes.
as he continues
Wow.
Yeah.
an
What a
otherworldly
dog.
season, the best season I have ever seen
Big dumper.
for a Major League Baseball catcher. Just
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable.
what he has done. But the real story I wanted to talk about with Cal Raleigh was not about him. It was about a fan who caught the the home run, the 60th home run that he hit very late in last night's win to clinch the division for the Seattle Mariners. The guy who caught the home run, which obviously would be worth a ton since it's the 60th home run. It's a historic home run. So that ball should be worth a lot of money, or you keep it for your keepsake if you're able to. He gave it to a kid. So instead of keeping the ball for himself or selling the ball,
very
nice. Give it to a youngster. What a gesture
I love
that
is.
That shows a lot of heart to
El
give up that
Grande.
ball and
Dumper
a lifelong memory for the young man he gave that ball to. So pretty cool stuff there.
Fun fact: awesome. Not even the biggest dumper on the Mariners.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I gotta put this. I gotta put this back up. This is the best.
El Dumper Grande.
Dumper Grande.
Kevin Libby.
Awesome.
Kevin Libby.
They say I'm Mr. Too Much, but tell you what, buddy, with all mad love, you're not far behind me.
And my final party thought of the evening, obviously a big week for football across the country, but it's a big week for golf fans because the Ryder Cup begins tomorrow.
Ryder Cup.
And the excitement is sky high right now. The hype is real. I think the U.S., now that I'm just looking back at it, I think the U.S. team has a chance. I think being at home, playing at Bethpage, the crowd is absolutely rowdy. It's the only time where you see fans cheer when a player misses a putt. Obviously, it'll be when a European player does, but there's literally nothing like the Ryder Cup. Obviously, the matches start. There's a morning session tomorrow, 4-ball and alternate shot, and they continue on throughout the entire weekend onto the singles session on Sunday. But man, I think it's going to be very tight. I just think I just think that the United States being at home, and I think there's a couple of underrated players on that Ryder Cup team. I think the U.S. team, although I feel like it would be easy to pick Europe, I just think the Americans have a couple of underrated guys that I think are going to show up an event like this at home with there's just so much excitement that goes into this, and the players know how much it means. I mean, it means a ton to be on a winning Ryder Cup team. You don't know how many opportunities you get for a chance to play on one of these teams. And, I think you got some guys like J.J. Spawn, who's had great years, Xander Schauffele, Harris English has quietly been playing well. Justin Thomas is great on a match play event like this. Even a guy like Sam Burns and Patrick Cantlay. I mean, two guys that we have seen play very well at RBC Heritage and other events. I kind of think this U.S. team's a little chip on their shoulder. I think they have some business to take care of here at home, and I expect them to come up big. I think it's going to be tight. I think Europe has some talent, especially on the top end, like McIlroy, Fleetwood, Rose. But I think in terms of depth, I mean, I know Hovland, Fitzpatrick, Ober. They've got some guys. I think this U.S. team is going to have to define a little extra magic to show out and win this thing. But I mean, then again, being at home, being in front of that rowdy section of fans that always come to show up, I think it's going to push them over the edge in what should be a very tightly contested Ryder Cup. Even though, I feel like you can make a gut pick to go Europe easily, but I just think
go either way. Both super talented squads.
Yep.
I like the fact that we get to set up the course, and it's going to be fast greens. It's going to be. I heard that the American teams, specifically this team, they sprayed a little bit off the tee, so they cut the rough down. They didn't want U.S. Open type rough, So I like that. I think
it's a good idea.
Yeah, strategically, we'll have the course set up to benefit us, and I think that may be the difference. I hope so. Should be fun, though. I love the Ryder Cup. It's great fun. I reserve all my jingoism for just a few events. The Ryder Cup, the World Cup, the Olympics, and that's about it. And the rest of the time, I was just born here. I mean, I didn't have a say in it. It's all good, but not a lot of nationalistic pride, per se. But when it comes to sporting events, jingoism all the way, baby. So go USA, go USA. Although most of the under the bus crowd rooting for Europe. I thought that was interesting. Yeah,
interesting.
They're for Europe.
Really?
Yeah, it was interesting. But they're old
Un-American.
curmudgeons. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with these old curmudgeons?
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, my parting thoughts, Wes, you'll appreciate this. I made my cross-country coaching debut yesterday. We went to the Cougar Chase up at Dogwood Hills Golf Course in Walterboro. And it was so much fun. And you'll know what I'm talking about, Wes. Just the camaraderie. And Max, you ran cross country too, right?
Now
I know.
I'm starting to
Yeah,
miss
I
it.
know what you're talking about.
I miss those days. I really
Camaraderie,
do. There's nothing like the adrenaline rush that shows up before a race. It's fantastic. The whole team aspect of it. You get yourself hyped. You're warming up. You get over the start. I mean, just man, I miss those days.
Make sure you go to the bathroom before you get to the
no doubt, no doubt. So you got there's always a pretty long line out there. You got to make sure you get there at the right time to do your business.
There was one working toilet in the men's room yesterday. It was. We had one kid who didn't get to go. He just had to run with it.
Oh boy, that's
whatever you do. Whatever you do. Whatever you do, don't drink milk.
So milk was a bad choice.
Milk was a bad choice. I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Now, I will say this to any cross country runners out there. After the race, one of the best drinks you can have after a race is chocolate milk. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's really good for your lactic acids and all
any
that
of my
stuff
Hardyville boys are
really
listening. Pepsi, not a good drink after race.
Yeah.
No.
What? Bill Wrightson was always big on the Gatorade. He was always big on the Gatorade and the water.
There you go.
And that was what we had in terms of before and after races.
I will say this. I miss cross country days because practice is always the fun times, even though we were running our butts off running, around 6 to 10 miles for practice and stuff like that. But it was always really fun. And the teammates that I with a lot of my cross country team back in the day at Hilton Head Christian, just because we became really good friends practicing and stuff like that. And it was really it's a special thing to have, especially
where the fun part was
doing it for the 4 years
to hype each other up before a race. There really was nothing like
it.
And
to pick each other up after the race.
How'd they do, by the way?
Absolutely, every time. Yes.
I love the way that the other teams cheer each other on. Here's my favorite. I had a lot of favorite memories already from yesterday, but I think my favorite was my boy Matthias comes up to me and he goes, "Coach Jarrett, some man tried to race me at the finish." I was like, "Yeah, man, we told you that was going to happen. It's a race." He goes, "No, these people were cheering, and I thought they were cheering for me, but then I saw a shadow, and I realized they were cheering for somebody who was trying to pass me, so I didn't let him pass me." I'm like, "That's what's up, Matthias."
Attaboy.
We're back on the course Saturday at Johns Island. Myself and AD Misa Garzon making the trip with the Canes. It'll be fun.
How'd it go, by the way? How did it go?
It went okay. Our girls struggled. They just haven't learned how to pace themselves yet. Our boys did pretty well. We were 19 points behind Bamberg. Looking at the math, there's a couple of guys we didn't have with us that we think are going to slot in where we think they slot in. Then it's going to be really close for a region championship. So Ephraim, the kicker, Ephraim Tinoco, he led us. He was 23 something, and then his little brother, freshman Santiago Tinoco, was second right behind him. So yeah, we're coming around. Yes, their Coach Francis will be making gingerbread cookies for the next meet she's at. So anyway, cross country's fun. Kids who don't play other sports in the fall, or maybe you feel like you're athletic but you don't really have the skill set to play other sports, go run cross country, man. It's fun. You go run in the woods with your friends for 30 minutes after school, and then once a week you get to go race other kids and make friends, because all of our kids made friends yesterday. So it's great. And
it's funny because you talk about the camaraderie. I remember there was a race I ran. We were at Bluffton High School, and all of a sudden I had this sharp pain in my stomach. One of those cramps, those really bad cramps that gets to you right in your stomach area. And I was struggling through the race, and this kid, Hilton Head Christian, this kid from Bluffton, you know, he comes up behind me. He was like, dude, don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. He was pushing me, you know, like
That's awesome.
He was encouraging me. And that's what cross country is about. And that's what I loved about it, doing it for 4 years. And eventually I became team captain for Hillman Christian Academy for my junior and senior year, just because I learned that, you know, camaraderie is super important in this sport.
Yeah, it is. It's team
awesome
sport,
stuff.
even though it's an individual endeavor. It's a cool thing like that. Also funny are the little kids, man, because there's always like 7th graders. There was a 5th grader from Colleton Prep. He was hilarious. But this little 7th grader cruised past Ephraim and said, "Keep it up, man." Ephraim was like, "There's a little kid." Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Love it.
All right, boys. Good show tonight. We got everybody ready for Friday night in the Loco. We will see you in less than 24 hours to start rounding it all up. Wes will be here in studio getting us rolling. We'll be out on site, and we'll give you the reports as fast as we can before anybody else. So join us tomorrow for Lowco Pigskin Live, getting started between the 9:30 and 10 o'clock hours. Wes will be at the controls, and we'll be on the airwaves. So we'll let you know what happens. Thanks to all of our sponsors, especially our All-Stars, Mickelson Law Firm and WHHI TV. Check out Marcus and the gang with Max behind the camera on WHHI tomorrow night on their YouTube channel. They'll be streaming live, and then you can catch it all week on the TV. Bobcats and Seahawks, Bridge Bowl Part 22. Here we go, boys. It'll be fun. Off into Friday we go. Thanks so much for Marcus Walsh, Max Araj, and Wes Kerr. I'm Justin Jarrett. Till Friday night, go Loco.